Hi guys, I'm Stoner Ericson from Ericson Design Company, and we're back in the shop. That cracks me up. I've done that like 10 times. I think it's hilarious, but welcome back guys. This week we're gonna build some farmhouse table chairs. Cost effective, comfortable, awesome chairs. For about 120 bucks, you can build 8 of these, so less than 20 bucks a chair, which is pretty dang good. I'm going to provide a cut list and some drawings at the end of the video if you stick around. So we have a 3 concept idea in this channel. It's idea, farmhouse table chair, design, we'll do that, and then we'll create it. So the idea, farmhouse chair. The design, so we'll start with the seat. It's going to be two 2x10s joined together to make the seat. A little notch out here that will go around the back chair rails. So we'll have some front chair rails, right? Some side rails, okay? Then some back rails. Right, and then on the back part of the chair, we'll do the back rails, which are all out of 1x3s. And that's pretty much it. So I think we should build it. I do want to provide another success tip. This week's success tip is brought to you by Stoner Ericson of Ericson Design Company. It is, in a year from now, you'll wish you would have started a year ago. And basically what that means, if you have anything you want to accomplish or goal you want to accomplish, could be learning Spanish or learning how to cook, learning how to do woodworking, saving money. In a year from now, you'll wish you would have started a year ago. So I'm Stoner Ericson from Ericson Design Company. Let's build some. I went ahead and did 3D modeling and SketchUp of these chairs for you guys to make a parts list. Also, so you can see how creative you can get with the back seats. You know, you can really think up any other way. So here's 3 different kind of styles that you can do. We're going to jump right on the chop saw and start cutting parts. The front legs and the bottom bracing are out of 2x4s, which I'm going to cut down to 1x2s. And all the rails are out of 1x3s. I'm going to mark every piece with the dimension so that I know what it is. So if they get mixed up, I'm not guessing what they are. Kind of a thing I like to do to stay organized. This is the back leg layout, so feel free to pause right now and draw this out. You know, it's 10 inches up from the bottom and 20 from the top, leaving an 8-inch center. You know, mark that, lay it out. You know, I like to scribble on the offcut of these pieces so that I know where I'm going to be cutting it out. I'm going to use a jigsaw to cut these out. I usually use them on a tapering jig, but I just kind of want to show you a different way. I've also used a skill saw with these. It gives a kind of a straighter cut, but I'm going to clean them up on the rigid sander after so they can kind of be a little rougher. Just gonna notch them out real quick. I'm gonna work on the seats now. If you've seen any of my other videos, I like to use the Ritter board as my clamping station. So I'm just gonna square these seat panels up. These are 2x10s. I'm gonna cut 1/8 of an inch off each side and gonna end up about an 18.5 for depth of the seat. And then I'll slice the bottom bracing and the front legs down to 1.5 inches. I'll also mark these pieces as well. You know, I always check the saw with my tape. It's a habit I've gotten into over the last 25 years. By doing this, because I switch from saw to saw often, by doing this it just is like a mental thing to where I know exactly what it is. I don't really trust the fence 100%. This fence is dialed in, but I still just measure and mark it It's good as a habit. It's a good habit to have. I'm going to true up one side of each of these panels, so when I go to glue up, I'll have a completely square edge, and then I'll cut off that side down to 20 inches for my final dimensions, and I'll taper the seats back. We'll hop on the Craig jig station here. Remember to do a Craig jig going up into the seats to hold the seat down. I forgot this step when I first built these, and it was a giant pain. I'm going to bookmark match the pieces together so that I don't have any cupping in the seat over time. And then I'll put a Craig jig in them to hold them up. If I was just gluing these together, I would use a biscuit or some other joinery method. But we're going to use the Craig jig to speed up the process, which I think Craig jigs are wicked strong. So we're going to pop this in here. Now, I'm going to show you some glue squeeze out. So whenever you're gluing anything up, you want to see the squeeze out, and people say don't use a rag to clean it up with a lot of water. I just put a little water on a towel and just wipe it up, but you do want to see the glue squeeze out as evenly as possible. That way you have full coverage over the joint. There's something satisfying about seeing this glue squeeze out for me. I don't know why, it just always makes me happy. I like to clean it up now so that it doesn't harden. Now that the seats are glued up and put together, I'm going to cut them down to their final size and make sure that they're nice and square. I'm going to lay out the taper for the seat so it's 20 inches in the front and it finishes at 17.5 in the back. And I'll just mark that and lay it out. Then you can freehand this with a skill saw or jigsaw if that's what you have, or I'm going to use the tapering jig on the table saw. There's not a lot of slop in this jig that I built, so I get a nice clean cut. And then after I'm happy with it and run it through, I'm going to mark right on the jig little lines so that when I flip it over, I know exactly where it needs to go. The other side needs to go. All of my tables have writing all over them, but that's the beauty, you just sand it off. So there's the taper. Next, we're going to notch out the back. It's 1.5 from the side and 2 inches from the back. Now this notch is going to nestle around the back leg and give a really nice finished look. And if you're upholstering this chair, you don't need to do this super fancy, but if you're not, make that a real good cut. Just hop on the old oscillating sander. I love this thing. It's right by the door, so it kicks all the dust straight out. And I'm going to give every piece just a quick sand, take off the burrs from the Craig jig, and just kind of feel them and look at every piece as we're getting closer to assembling it. So you'll see that the dust kind of collects there. It's supposed to suck down those holes in the back, but it doesn't get it all, so I just blow it off with a blower. Here's your cut list. Pause it, write it down. All right, so here we've got one of the setups one of the leg setups in the Ritter board. So we just glue it up, sled it for the night, or we can just hit it, clamps it down, holds it down, ready to go. And that's gonna hold it through the night, that one style. I want to show you how to do one of these without the Ritter board, because I know not everyone has a Ritter board. So I'm just going to freehand one on the table saw. You can use clamps, or I'm just going to use muscle and hold it together. A little glue and just zip it together. I have to taper the back leg. It's about 7 degrees. That's why I cut these at 15 inches, so that I can mark it 2 inches up from the top and kind of taper it in there. And we'll just throw the back seat together on the Craig jig or on the Ritter board as well, and just use the Craig screws to hold it together. It's a strong chair. Let's just assemble it. Use a couple clamps, bar clamps. And put that back seat rail on. So I'm gonna wanna slide that 3/8 from the back, and I actually put a little angle towards the bottom as well, so you can kind of figure out how you wanna do that. Pop the seat on. There we go. That bottom bracing, that third piece. And then I'm gonna take some dowels I made, or some dowels I have 3/8, and I'm just gonna pound them in the holes of the Craig jigs to fill them, and then I'll just cut them off. Find this way cheaper than buying the Craig jig dowels, and they're actually more efficient because you cut them all the way off. Sometimes the dowels will be a little inconsistent. Let's give it a light sand, and then I will putty the holes just with a little bit of wood putty, and then I'll fill them off, and they'll all look really nice. All right, there we go. We did it. Pretty fun, pretty simple chair, durable, long lasting. Again, you can design the back any way that you'd like. We were gonna upholster this one, but all the stores are closed, so we can't get into that. If you like seeing videos like this, hit that like button, hit the comment button, hit the subscribe button, and we're gonna have some really cool videos coming up. We're gonna have a new Tool Tuesday. What's in the shop? Who knows? All right, well, I'm Stoner Ericson from Ericson Design Company. Thanks for watching, guys. Ta-da!